How is it going, everybody? Scott the MassNERDerer here, and welcome to another episode of Nerd Talk Be Advised. As you see, we have a black screen over at Culprit's side of things. Well, he's running a little late. He plans to jump in midstream. We hope he gets here soon. He'll be able to take part in the discussion, but if not, we'll miss him this time. We'll make sure he's back here the next time for you. Our other two reoccurring hosts, MrTimeItself, up in the top right. Click on his face if you want to head over to his channel. Right under me is MrTehPuppy. Click on his face, you can be taken to his channel. Click on my face, or click on the black screen and be taken to my channel or Culprit's channel, respectively. Also, if you want to skip ahead to any of the topics and skip our intro or any of our extra talk, just something you want to hear, our two topics today are going to be renter servers, bad admins. We're sort of focusing in on Battlefield 3, but maybe we'll expand this topic to other multiplayers and how we think about this. Then the next topic is going to be Medal of Honor Warfighter. We're going to be talking about their classes and abilities and what we think about them. And then the last two are blanks, and I just didn't have enough time to edit down this screen to make it only two topics. So that's what we're going to be talking about. You can click, skip ahead anytime you want. For you in the stream, we thank you for coming and hanging out with us. We got Jex, Crazy Cookies. I'm horrible at pronouncing names here, but what is that one is Durgy Burbiel. Let's just call you Durgy. I think that's correct. Dylan Aqua, Crazy Cookies, IGT Bat, and Eggroll. Welcome back, Eggroll. All right, thanks everyone for showing up, hanging out.
I don't see more.
Hey, thank you guys for showing up. How's your week been going? That's you too. How's your week been going? You too. Puppy.
You're good.
Time.
Hanging in there.
My week has been interesting, man. I've been having to ride the public transportation to school, and I will summarize it all by saying toothless Tourette's.
Yeah,
Okay.
can't stand one for public transportation, but I guess I've been lucky there. All right, well, I guess we won't dilly-dally this time. We're running 10 minutes late. Sorry for that. We'll try to jump into the topics. And so the first one actually is a pretty interesting topic. Unless you guys have any other things you want to share before we get going.
Let's do this. Let's do it.
All right. So our first topic here, hey Zitterzap, actually came from Twitter. It was a Twitter conversation. I think someone tweeted something. I replied. A few more people got involved, and it was going back and forth on Twitter. So it's pretty interesting. And so you guys know, if you want to check any of our other links out in the description on the YouTube video, you'll find all of our links. So what the topic came from, it was a discussion between myself mainly, Kevin McKinless, and Myers Hertz. And I think some of you guys might have heard of those guys. Just other people who come on Twitter, not YouTube makers or anything. Not that I think. Anyway, the topic was about renter servers and bad admins. And they were saying they think the way to solve everything is just always have vote to kick involved. So that's they say that should be required. You should have to vote to kick someone. And this is a pretty interesting thing because, you know, renter servers are a pretty big thing. So before we go into vote to kick, maybe we'll start with just a little bit of discussion on renter server and what we think of that option. So we'll start there and we'll keep going. And as you guys know, if you're in the live stream Twitch chat, please at any time get in there, just put at Nerd Talk, at MassNERDerer, at Time, at Puppy, the at symbol. That's going to stand on the chat to us, and you can get involved and reply to these topics as well. And we definitely love to talk about your things. So renter servers, guys. Let's start there. What do you guys think about it? First of all, let's not go into bad admins yet. Just renter server.
It's a chunk of change to pay. It takes some cash to keep a server up.
Yeah.
I think that leads to you see people who, you know, be like, I paid all this money, I want to be able to kick whoever I want, or
not bad admin yet.
I want to keep my server.
You're coming into it.
No, but it's like you pay that much, and you know you end up paying more in server fees than you did for the game or DLC, and so I think that's one of the things that you can't ignore is you paid a bunch of money for it.
Don't think about just what do you think about the rented server? Do you want it in the game or do you not want it in the game? Let's start there. Go real basic so you don't bring up bad admins.
If you can get the same level of options without it, yeah, go for it. At the same time, you need dedicated servers, so if you want to give those people those options, you need to be able to rent them. And I don't see how that's complicated.
Okay, so you're going back and forth. Puppy, what do you think?
I think renter servers are a great idea, fantastic idea, particularly on consoles. I mean, because PC games have had, you know, some form of renter server for a long time. It's not always been so much, like you rent from the company that you bought the game from, but there's always been like some sort of hosting service for the PC guys in which you can rent a server. They have everything set up. All you got to do is type in, however you want the server to be customized. But to actually get that on to actually get that on console has, to me, it's leveling the playing field. That obviously console is still lagging behind as far as generation and graphics and things like that goes, but it helps level the playing field as far as why people would choose PC over console. It's kind of bringing people into that, as well as, in my opinion, opening a lot of doors for future games that may be developed, because now that DICE has done this, I have a very strong feeling that you're going to see a lot of other companies do this as well, because as much as it is expensive, they're churning a profit off of this. They are.
Yeah.
I mean, so why not? Why turn down profit? From a business standpoint, why turn down profit? And then there's the player end of things, which is, to me, is very beneficial, in which we all get to have our own servers. We can throw our name on it. We can, edit the description however we want, the maps that we want. Don't have to play maps we don't like. I see no reason against it as far as it actually being a service.
Yeah. Well, so what we're getting in the chat, we have a few people, Jack Zitter Zap. They came in and said it's great for clans, for matches, and stuff like that. I love the option. Crazy Cookies came in here and said it never should have been here because it worked perfectly fine just with the regular server. So, I mean, I'll chime in my opinion on Rent a Server. And I've said this before, I love more options. I never think you can go wrong with more options as long as you're not neglecting other things, So, Rent a Server, giving us a little bit more control and allow people to make it how they want is great. But as Time said, when you give up something, then it's when I start saying, wait a minute, that's what, I love more DLC, but don't make more DLC until you make sure your game's right. All right, there's things like that. I don't want to get into that conversation, but I'm all, don't give up other things. So if you're going to give us Rent a Servers, great. We don't need as many of your servers, but don't give up official servers, and that's where sort of the balance comes in. So going to Battlefield 3 specifically, and I think me and you, Puppy, at least, love Rent a Servers. Time, you seem to be taking a lot more variables. But
Yeah.
How do you think Battlefield 3 has done with
this is the thing. I don't have experience with Rent a Server outside of Battlefield 3, so forgive my ignorance. But I associate it with the terrible matchmaking that is Battlefield, and not being able to play with the people I want, even if I rented a server. And so that's the thing that keeps me like, oh, I could rent a server, and then I'd have to mess with teams all the time to make sure I could play with the people I wanted to. So maybe if I had experience with a game that did it better, maybe I would like it. But I was like, I think Rent a Server, Battlefield matchmaking, don't like.
See, I don't think Rent a Servers affected the matchmaking at all. I know.
No, it was already a mess. But
we had, just so you guys know what Time's coming in, some of you haven't experienced, but me and Time, when Battlefield 3 first came out, you'd get in a squad and then you try to join a game, and it would split up your squad. Sometimes you wouldn't even get in the same game, sometimes on opposite teams, and that was just very frustrating. Rent a Servers gives you the option now, though, Time, that I can bounce the teams. When I had my server, we never had to jump in, I'll kick someone, I'll switch you over, I'll switch teams. You had more options. I think Rent a Server is great. I think they've added more official servers now. So
yeah, they have.
As far as Rent a Server, in Battlefield 3, I think they've done great, and I think they're setting the bar. And that's one thing Call of Duty does and everything else. It sets the bar for every other game to follow. Battlefield 3 is saying, we're going to do something first. I wish they would have done some other things, but I think it's great. It gives us more options. Puppy, you're smiling over that. The chat, or you got something?
I was just chat. Don't mind me.
My issue, I guess, the other one is that you pay for that server, and then you want to keep it full, because you don't have enough friends to keep it, enough acquaintances to keep people always in there.
Might not have enough
and
friends.
So people, some of us lonely, but so they try to come up with, slightly distinctive rules that people are going to want to come in, and that's why I think you see a lot of the 200% rush servers, because they're like, oh, we're not just going to have an old rush server, we're going to have a 200 because it's going to be 200%, it's going to be better, twice as good. And in fact, I don't really care for your odd ticket count rush servers.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the other downsides.
The server browser, I think, definitely actually could have been improved a little bit to sort of limit, because it was difficult, and sometimes it wasn't even easy to see, or it isn't easy to see what you're getting into before you join the match. Sometimes you're like, wait a minute, what all rules do you have? And
yeah.
So Puppy, any last comments on rent a server and its function before we sort of transition into bad admins and how that affects things?
You know, I will say this. There is one thing that I thoroughly enjoyed, and honestly, it's not really DICE's fault on this one. You know, but to me, like, all right, so when they did the Rent-A-Center, when they did the Rent-A-Server on console, they said very specifically you can enforce things like, you know, gun-specific rules and things like that. You know, back in the days of earlier servers, you know, I remember, you know, admins enforcing these gun-specific rules and things like that, where, I mean, you know, like, say, a knife only. You know, that was, or back in the day, you know, you'd find those a lot, and they were a lot of fun. You know, if you're just looking to goof off, you're not wanting to be serious, then yeah, sure, go to a knife-only server. Who cares? But now, you know, with the console servers, you can't do that, because if someone's doing a knife-only server, supposedly it'll get taken away. And I think that's a little dumb. I understand that they're partially doing it because they don't want people boosting their stats, which then, you know, you get into stats and how much are they really worth, and I'm not going to go there right now. But, you know, like, that took away a lot to me, you know, by restricting what they're allowing people to do with the Rent-A servers. I mean, you know, you look at a lot of things that, like, Counter-Strike was famous for leading the way on, like a gun game and things like that. The reason why all this happened is because they gave people that power over their own servers. They gave people that control over their own servers. And the reason why you don't see it in Battlefield, any of these special game modes in Battlefield, is because they don't give you that power. They say no. Unless you're going to make it unranked, and if you make it unranked, nobody joins.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to agree. I think they've limited themselves, and it seems, you know, I get where they're going, I get the idea, and let's just limit everything, we won't risk people doing a whole bunch of stupid stuff. But I mean, you can still boost in a server, you can still do all this. It's like, their limitation is really doing nothing but holding us back. And right. Gun game, and even in, I think, Modern Warfare 3, they came up with a few new game modes that they put into the game because people started playing around with it, and people are creative, you know. That's, I believe, and I don't want to go too off, but the players are the best asset to any game. The games that survive forever, you know, are games that allow you to mod it and allow people, the players, to add things to the game. Team Fortress 2, you can make things and put it in the game because the players know what the game needs. You know, look at DICE. I mean, no offense, you know, we don't need to get into DICE bashing, but some of the patches they come out with, you're like, wait a minute. Yes, we all complained about the AC-130, but that's not what we complained about, you know. And it's Culprit's pretty adamant about that stuff, and I'm not. I haven't played with it yet, but it's when you let players affect the game, it comes out better, pretty much all the time, you know.
Yes.
So
yeah. Let the community feed itself.
Yeah. So I wish more options.
The idea that you have a home that anybody can come into anytime, that seems really appealing, as opposed to always trying to party up with, you know, figure out who's online.
Yeah.
You just have a place.
Yeah.
Like, if you got a group of friends, that's absolutely phenomenal.
So, where things may have gone, well, we've talked about a few things there where things may have gone wrong. If you guys want to join in the chat, we're sort of getting sidetracked. They're going on a few different things, but if we want to move into another thing that a lot of people have issues with, and that's bad admins. And I know that I see this all the time, that people are saying, you know, oh, I got kicked again. Oh, I joined in. I was going 33-0. Now I'm kicked. You know, and people are always complaining about being kicked. So, sorry, got distracted by the chat as well. I saw my name. All right. So bad admins. Is this a thing where, you know, the admins come in, they are really aggressive, and they kick people for doing good, not for breaking rules. They let people break the rules, do whatever, use glitches and stuff, but once you do good and kill me, you're gone. And that's a pretty big issue. So, what Kevin McKinless and Myers Hertz really were adamant about on Twitter, and we're trying to enforce, or we're trying to get, and they were actually sending this to Battlefield and DICE, I don't remember who they're tweeting it to, but let us have, it wasn't even, and this was a discussion sort of interesting, it was vote to kick. But it wasn't like servers should have an option to have vote to kick. It should be a vote to kick system. And we sort of went back and forth, and that's sort of where they stand. So I'm going to open up, well, I won't open up with my opinion because I've talked a lot in the intro. What is your guys' opinion on vote to kick? And in the chat, please, at Nerd Talk, at, you know, any of us, a vote to kick. Do we want it? Do we not want it? Should we always have it? Should we, you know, where are we at there? So who wants to chime in?
I was going to let you go first because I just want to tell you how wrong you are.
Okay, Time, how about
I'm
you
gonna
jump
say
in me?
that when you have even 24 players in a game, and you get like this random so and so should be kicked, you're like, why the heck do you want to kick this guy? Like, I need an explanation as to why that's, unless he's obviously hacking, in which case, yeah, sure, but otherwise, I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to vote to kick somebody. I mean,
Yeah. So,
and then you get to PC or even more players, and yeah, you can type out your little message, but
yeah.
in general, it's just like, I don't know why that guy needs to get kicked. I mean, what's going on?
So, a vote to kick, I think, is a nice option. But here's actually where I stand, is that I think vote to kick should be good for the other players, but I think an admin, honestly, my opinion, as someone who rented a server and paid for it for, how long did I have it up? 6 months, 9 months? I don't remember. It was quite a while.
Yeah.
The max you could buy, whatever that was. I want the option to kick whoever I want to kick. I mean, it's my server. I paid for it. DICE should supply. They should still have their public servers that you can go to. But I should have the right, if you do something I don't like, or maybe you're someone I don't want in my server and I've asked you to leave 20 times, I should be able to kick you whether people vote you out or not. And at the same token, if I have a friend in my server and everyone wants to vote to kick him, screw you, it's my server. You can't kick who I don't want you to kick. I believe I should have the right, as a server owner, to kick whoever I want without vote to kick, and to VIP people to make them unkickable. That's where I stand. So and maybe I changed your mind, Puppy, because before we mentioned the topic, and Puppy's like, and I was like, I don't like vote to kick. And he's like, no, vote to kick. I think it's my server. I pay for it. I do what I want.
Yep, you didn't change my mind, bro.
Oh, gosh.
Still didn't change my mind.
You're not always going to have an admin on. I think that's the one. One reason.
That is one of the huge selling points. Is how often is an admin actually on? How many people do you really trust with dishing out admin rights to? I mean, part of the way that you keep a server going strong is by always having an admin on, and one of the best ways to go about when an admin can't be on is having something like vote to kick. Because obviously there's going to be someone on there. I mean, on the consoles we don't really suffer from hackers. On PC I know that's still a problem. I've heard rumors of PS3. I don't know. I don't play it. So, whatever, don't shoot me. But, obviously they're the hackers, but then you have the people that just use like regular out-of-the-map exploits and things like that, and nobody wants to play with those people. I don't want to play with those people. I don't know anybody else that does besides maybe the people that are doing it themselves. So, if an admin's not on, you're basically just stuck being frustrated, or you can just quit. And then, it's kind of like the whole mantra, you've let the terrorists win. And beyond that, in my opinion, even if an admin is on, I think if it's a ranked server, if it is ranked, and it just doesn't have to be, Battlefield. It can go to any game, where if the stats are recorded and it's contributing towards your overall level of the game or whatever, if it's ranked, then yes, it needs to have a vote to kick system, because you will have those admins out there that abuse things. I've been in games where I've been, playing Rush, and say, whatever map, it doesn't really matter. The admin's on the defending team, and me and the whole offense are just running through these guys. We get to the last set of MCOMs. Next thing you know, I've been kicked. My buddy's been kicked, and I have some friends that are still in the game, and they see that everyone on our team is being kicked.
So I don't know if I misled you. I'm not against vote to kick. I'm against not giving admins the right to kick.
Oh, I don't think
vote to kick. I want in. That's great. All the players should be allowed to vote to kick. But I believe that an admin should have ultimate power. And I get when you go rank server, I sort of understand. And I wish there was more, if you don't have a ranked server, people don't join. I think that's probably partly on DICE not advertising. I think that's why some of the issues happen, that people don't know how to use server browser. I think DICE should promote that. But I still, and I get where you come with ranked server. Like, it's a ranked match. The admin shouldn't be allowed to just kick whoever he wants. But for me, allow you to vote to kick, but allow me as an admin, as the owner of the server, to have last say. And that's what I think, because I paid for it. It's my server. This isn't set up to be, the best. And then from the chat, sorry guys, I forgot who typed it up. One person said they think the best solution, add in server rating system. And I actually think that's amazing. I think that's a great idea. I wish we had a lot more. I wish they ported all this stuff onto the computer a little bit better. So you could see the server, you could see information about the server, the rules list, you could see who's been kicked, who's been banned, or maybe you could handle some of that stuff from the computer. But a rating system would solve bad admins, in my opinion, I think, because this server has a horrible rating, I'm not going to join it,
It's more work, and in some ways it's also not enough feedback from, members to admins. I mean, what if suddenly your server became unranked? Like, enough people voted it down, people don't get XP on it anymore.
Yeah, and
like, that's just in terms of really crazy things, that's just an idea.
You might also, like if you imagine, say a clan happens to join your server and they all stack up on one team and you happen to be on the other team and you beat them, they may feel so inclined to leave your server a bad rating, even if the only thing that happens was they came out a little butthurt because they lost.
Yeah.
And then that's ruined your server ratings because, you had some 8 people that actually left a bad rating, whereas generally people don't leave ratings at all. When was the last time you actually took the time out of your day after playing with somebody to stop into their Xbox Live profile and leave them a good rating?
Yeah.
See, you're talking to the wrong person, because I leave ratings, all the time.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I leave good and bad all the time. If anyone chats with me and I meet them, like, oh, you're cool, they get a good rating. So it's, how often do I get in the public chat? Not that often, but literally when I'm in public chat, yeah. And I leave bad ratings all the time. So, I probably leave double the bad ratings as good ratings, but that's because I'm usually with people I know already. But yeah, I leave good. I'm a weird person like that. But
like I said, it's just a general. There's not enough feedback for bad admins to show other players, and I don't know if there's an easy way to track that in stats. But if someone's kicking people all the time,
they said one person mentions admin tracking, being able to do that, report admin. I feel like if you are allowed to rank servers, give them ratings, yeah, you're going to lose some good servers, but you're going to find some good ones as well. And I feel like right now, you find more. I think it would only improve things. Some people would get screwed. It happens, but people get screwed now because they join bad games. I'm thinking, I don't want to dwell on this. We've already been like 20 minutes on this topic, so I'm still at admin should have final choice. Where you guys at?
I said I'm still all for it, man. Still all very much for a vote to kick, and I'm still for taking away, even going so far as to take away an admin's right to kick.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say if you don't have an admin on, then maybe. Otherwise, I really don't want to see, additional rules enforced by majority. That seems odd.
You want vote to kick when there's an admin on?
When there's not an admin. I'm sorry if I misspoke. That's the only case, and it's like, otherwise you've got a bad admin, and in which case you got to find another server.
All right. Well, hey, you guys on YouTube, please leave your comments below. You guys in the chat, we've heard some of your ideas, but please feel free to leave some more. We'll get to them at the end of the video. So, moving on to our next topic, Medal of Honor Warfighter. You guys know there's sort of the beta actually coming early October. August would be backwards, and that doesn't work well. October. And we know about all their classes now, and we know that they have abilities. We don't know everything. Each class is actually going to have their own score chains, which is pretty cool. It's so for any of you guys who maybe aren't familiar with Medal of Honor, hopefully you know about kill streaks in Call of Duty. So I was going to say Modern Warfare, but in all of Call of Duty, it selects your kill streaks for you for each class. So hopefully that adds to some extra balancing in terms of the classes. But to go over a brief overview, I actually had a video on my YouTube channel about this, but just to quickly summarize, or would you guys prefer maybe we go one by one and just discuss our thoughts on them, what we think about them? Just a quick discussion like that. And you guys in the chat, we'll do that. That'll be better for you guys. We'll go one through all 6 classes, share our opinions, what we like, what we don't like, and you guys can chime in as well. So they're talking about iPhone 5s and iOS 6. Yeah. The chat it stayed pretty good for the beginning, but if you guys come and ever hang out on our Twitch chat, it pretty much, almost the whole time, goes completely off. A lot of people say they come to our chat and they're like, I come to the chat to chat, and then I'll watch the video later for the podcast. So that's what happens. Okay, so the first class we want to talk about, why I have one up here. That's inaccurate. Oh, okay, I see how it is. Sorry, I typed this up earlier and then all my notes are like sloppy as heck. Alright, we'll talk about Point Man first. And Point Man has heavy hitters as his ability. And so what these abilities are is pretty much like a spec, you know, a perk you get. So heavy hitters is going to be one magazine or one clip of extra damage. So extra damage bullets. Point Man, you know, is sort of our mid-range guy. He's like the assault class in Battlefield 3. Not super long range, not super good up close. He sort of runs in the middle. For me, Point Man is, for thinking ahead, is my #1 go-to. Give me extra damage. I've always been a fan of getting more damage rather than any more protection or something. I want to kill people quicker. And he's mid-range, and that's where I excel. So, looking forward to it a lot. What are you guys thinking?
Sounds like you're going to work on your accuracy quite a bit. Good use of that one magazine.
Well, I mean, you get the rest of your normal bullets, but, you know,
Yeah,
increased damage, I'll try to make it count.
Yeah.
I can go all for a damage class, anything like that, because anything that suits my style, I don't want to have to adapt my gameplay style for a class. I'd rather, you know, just find a class that suits my gameplay style, and a lot of times it's very in-your-face oriented, and as the name would imply, Point Man, you know, obviously up front works by me.
Yeah, Point Man's are pretty cool, and we can compare as we keep going if you guys want to go back to any of them. Next one we'll talk about, I don't know why I haven't ordered like this, but is the Sniper. So the Sniper, we obviously know what the Sniper is. Medal of Honor is very small maps. I've heard a few people who played the game, you know, not the alpha, but actually played the recent build of the game, said it's a little difficult, but they've had success. And what that's going to give you is the bipod. So what I want to also bring in here is the Heavy Gunner. So the Heavy Gunner is also considered a long-range engagement thing. He also has the bipod. So it's the only time that the abilities, they have two kit classes have the same ability. Bipod is going to give you an enhanced mini-map. So it sort of zooms in, lets you see a little better what's going on around you so you can get your targets. And it's going to give you a huge boost in accuracy. Supposedly better than Battlefield 3's boost in accuracy when you bipod down. So, I mean, for me, I'm not long range. Bipod, nice. Maybe it could help me get some of those shots, but small map, you know, trying to find good sight lines and making that work, and I'm not good with there. So I'm not at all excited there.
Can't. I've never enjoyed Sniper in any game to date.
They're definitely going to have some semi-autos.
No,
Do you get tempted?
Maybe it's the kind of thing like I can't start out. I have to know how the map plays. I have to know how people play it. So you can basically set up, like the bipod, you have to set up ahead of time and knowing that gunfight's going to happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got more range, but you still, like, you don't want to be sitting there for 5 minutes like, oh, somebody's going to come over that hill eventually.
Yeah.
You gotta learn the map first, and then maybe have a shot at using stuff that's longer range.
And
like
Battlefield 3, did you start off with hopping into the recon kit, or did you sort of wait a while before you jumped in?
No, it was assault. Pretty much all assault until about, I'm going to say at least 50 hours in.
Okay. Alright, so, and the Heavy Gunner, I mean, what do we think about the Heavy Gunner, though? It's still, you know, I don't know how he's going to function up close. You know, I'm assuming, you know, we got these big guns, bipod down. I don't know how controllable we're going to be at close range with that gun.
Could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I know you're a big M60 fan. Puppy, you too, right? Or
if there is an M60 in there, then I'm down. I'm down.
Alright. So the next class, which actually a few people mentioned in the chat that they're looking forward to, is the Spec Ops class. And the Spec Ops is like your engineer in Battlefield 3. He's your close range, you know, submachine gun. He has the fastest movement speed, and he's got a lot of power up close. So he's really going to be effective running around, getting the objectives, and doing a lot of action moving around. His ability is pretty cool too. Spec Ops Vision. Think of a UAV coming in, but on your vision. So it swipes the screen and it shows you their bodies, like X-ray vision, in proximity to you on the map. So pretty cool, and that's a great thing if you're. And I think it's only up for like 10 to 15 seconds. But if you're running really quick, you don't have time to like stop, get calls, and here you just flap it on. Good, no one's here. I can move, or I have two targets right here. Jump in and kill them. Really exciting. I just never excel. You know, I have to be a little more tactical. I'm not as quick on the trigger. So you get me up close. If I know where they're at, maybe. But I worry that I'd probably get worked by some better Spec Ops people.
I like the idea. Like I said, I'm all about being up close and in your face. I'm not sure, you know, obviously if they're using submachine guns, that would imply that they're going to be a little bit better at the up close game than say the rifle. Your point man. But at the same time, again, it depends on the maps. How do the maps play out? Because if the map's going to be playing out all up close, in your face, Nuketown, Op Metro style, or are they going to be a little bit further spaced out? It depends on range and things like that as far as where I think I will be most comfortable. One of the things that I'm a little bit curious about with the Spec Ops is, like, Spec Ops kind of implies a certain degree of sneakiness and things like that. And to me, that makes me wonder, does that mean the other classes can't be sneaky?
And I don't even know, is he really going to be sneaky? I mean, he's got that vision thing, but from what I've heard, the maps are action-packed. They're close range. Some people are saying maybe too action-packed. That's why I'm excited to have a demo coming very soon. But Time, did you mention what your opinions of Spec Ops so far?
I am looking for the same kind of being able to be sneaky like I was in COD 4, take 20-30 seconds, go on a long flank, and be rewarded with a nice triple kill. So this might be a way to make that happen. But like you said, I don't know how it's going to play out.
And what do you guys think about that ability, the Spec Ops? Cool, maybe overpowered, maybe just it might not work out good. I mean, like I said, it's only 10 to 15 seconds. I think I don't know, it's got to recharge.
Fast the game plays, right? Yeah. If you can walk around and know that you can step around a corner and get two people who aren't looking at you, awesome. If you have to turn it on when you get to the door and turn it off before you go ahead and clear the building, it's a different situation.
And for you viewers, I'd love to hear your opinion on Spec Ops Vision, what you're thinking about as we sort of push through some of the other ones. Okay, Demolitions. Okay, this has tank mode. So he's one of the slower classes, one of the slowest actually. But he's got tank mode as his ability. So, that's like, I hate to say it, I said in my video, Juggernaut in Modern Warfare 3. I've heard it's not as bad and you can take him down easier. But extra armor, and I've just heard, like, up close, he annihilates. Like, he destroys. But he's so slow that if you know he's coming, you can get out of there, and then you can all rain hell down on him from afar. I sort of, I never play with a Juggernaut often, because when I was slow, for me, like in Modern Warfare 3, I struggled to get killed. They'd run around, I'm like, man, I'm just running around as Juggernaut not doing anything, and I guess you really got to have good map knowledge, and almost good team support to sort of funnel the enemies to you, because if not, they just keep running. It's hard to kill me, but it was hard to get kills. So I'm wondering, how's that going to play out here in this game? So I'd love to hear your opinion, especially Time as a big Call of Duty background. Juggernaut, that kind of...
In Modern Warfare 3, the Juggernaut is an awesome distraction. Yeah, you can kill people and do really well, but it's amazing as a distraction, and teammates who recognize it and use it can do some nice stuff. Like, especially against people who just want to shoot the Juggernaut. It's funny.
Yeah. So you like the entrance? Well, sorry, Dubby, don't want to cut you off, but you like the entrance of tank mode coming in for this kid? Or are you worried about it?
See, I don't know. I mean, Armor Lock and Halo Reach apparently did not go over too well. A Juggernaut in Modern Warfare 3, it's okay. It may not be worth it, but it's fun.
Okay.
I think no matter which game you look at, I mean, you can look through just about every game in recent history. Any game that adds something that augments your health and gives you more health, that makes you harder to take down in that aspect. You may not do more damage, you may walk slower or whatever, but it gives you more health. Any game that does that, there's always someone complaining that there are balance issues. Always, always, always. You can look at new games, like I've seen people complaining about PlanetSide 2 beta, where there's like essentially the same kind of idea of this, ultimate heavy, high health type class, but they move really slow, and everyone complains about them because everyone uses them.
Yeah.
You go back to World at War with Juggernaut, all these things. I think anytime where you augment health, you're going to run into problems. And so I think that's kind of a bad idea. You're walking a very fine line on trying to do it correctly, and I am worried that they won't.
Yeah.
I'm very worried about
Definitely risky. I mean, heavy hitters, you give someone extra bullet damage, people get mad. People, no matter what you do, people get mad when you add stuff. And it's, I think the only way, if it really works, like all of them sort of funnel into each other. And, when I look at, we always bring Team Fortress up. There's a few games we bring up. I guess we're not very varied, but Team Fortress 2 has done so successful. Has classes or kits that are very different. But I think a lot of people would consider them balanced. I mean, I consider some of them overpowered because I'm not good with them and they kill me a lot. But, you know, I don't want to talk about it. We're just saying you can do a lot of these things if you do it right. And I guess what you're saying is it's not easy. A lot of games can't do it. So we'll see how that goes.
Team Fortress, it's a one class kind of counters another.
Yeah.
And with only 6, I don't think you'll see so much of that. So it's what playstyle works for you.
I agree. Okay, so Jack's over there, Team Fortress 2 fans, getting crazy in the chat. All right, so the last kit we're going to talk about, the last class. They call them classes in Modern Warfare 3, so it's hard to sort of keep going back and forth. Assaulter. It's like the point man. You can think of that mid-range guy. And I mean, I don't know what else is going to be different. We know his ability is different. He gets the M320 grenade launcher, and I've heard the grenade launcher is actually really powerful from some of the pre-testing. So when we get the beta, they're actually cutting it down. I think how much ammo you get or how often you can refill it or something like that, because it was pretty powerful. And I think when I hear overpowered noob tube, I'm like, oh my god, Modern Warfare, please no, you know, that was ridiculous. So supposedly they're bringing it back down. I mean, noob tubes can be interesting. So I'm never been a huge fan of them, so I mean, Point Man, still my mid-range, but this is another mid-range option. I don't know, do you guys have preference over heavy hitters, noob tube, if you had to choose from there?
Hit indicators with noob tubes can be mean, because if you have a bunch of them and you just need to keep shooting, just how suppressed you can keep people like that can be obscene. I don't know, that's just the first thought that popped into my head.
Yeah.
Again, I think you're always going to find someone that's going to complain about it. Honestly, though, I bring this game up way too much. But I think that no one should really rightly complain about M320 noob tubes if you haven't played BF 2142, in which the noob tubes were actually rockets that you could adjust the distance with which they exploded at.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, they were ridiculous. You know, so I don't think anyone needs to complain about 320s at all.
It was also written they were semi-automatic, and when I think semi-auto, I mean, to me that sounds like you don't have to reload one. It's just, I mean, right? Semi-auto should mean it just shoots, which maybe that sounds a little bit like, I don't know if that's what you want to do with noob tubes. You know, it should be like pop one in, shoot it, take a minute to reload it, shoot it. But I don't know the article I read when I read this first. I think the article I actually read, someone was asking in the chat. I have a video up. You can watch. I talk about all this. MP First, mp1st.com. They did an article on this. Medal of Honor, mohhq.com did an article on this. The Medal of Honor, the official Medal of Honor blog, linked all the people who came to their studios and talked about the game. So you can find all that kind of information there. So what do we have in the chat? NoobTube was a complete issue in Medal of Honor 2010. People use them as primaries. Well, I assume they're only giving you 2, is what I think I heard. They're only going to give you 2 NoobTube.
Oh, wow.
You know, they've definitely learned things from Medal of Honor 2010. It doesn't mean they go in the right way. But I don't think we're going to see a lot of the same mistakes. We just have to hope they don't make new mistakes. That's what we're going to be at.
I don't know, with the whole you only get 2 thing, it's less distinctive. It just takes me back to the Call of Duty where you only get 2 noob tubes, and yeah, it's a useful attachment, but you're planning on dying if you're doing that.
Yeah. Good point. Okay, so there we said all the kits. I mean, for you guys hearing them all now talking about their... What are you guys' go-to kits, you think? Given we haven't played the game yet, but just speculating.
Honestly, I'd say honestly right now it sounds like Spec Ops for the up-close.
Yeah. Okay.
Power.
Well, I think I'd start off with, what was the first one listed with the extra bullet damage? That's where you start off, definitely, and then probably move over to Spec Ops and some of the bipods from there.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. So yeah,
it's got to learn the game one piece at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I'll probably try to stick to Point Man. I mean, the beta comes out, I'm definitely going to try to dabble in all of them, but I think I'll jump on my first few goes with Point Man and try to do my best there. Oh, Jex, I'm not going to buy the game anyway. Well, boo on you.
Well, betas are free.
Yeah, betas are free. I can't be sure I'm going to buy any game before the game's released or anything. But yeah. All right. For you guys in chat, please leave what kit you're looking forward to the most. I know a few of you did already. I think what we'll do is really try to keep this one a little shorter, so stick to the topics and probably try to cut it here, unless you guys have anything else to say.
I think a lot of those mechanics are things we've seen before,
Yeah.
and it's just going to be interesting to see how they do the maps, and how they do everything, and see how it comes together.
They definitely, you know, it's an anticipated game, and we can't be sure what's going to happen with it. That's Medal of Honor Warfighter, but it's some interesting things. Some, you know, I haven't seen the Spec Ops vision often. And I think things like that have been involved in other games. I think Blacklight Retribution had something like that.
Definitely.
So it's combining all these into I hate using the term realistic, but a semi closer to realistic than other games. You know, it'll be interesting to combine all these things and see where it goes. So what we'll do is you know, if you watch on YouTube, if you're listening to this on the podcast audio version, which will have a link in the description of the YouTube video when that's up for you. Not that I've done that a lot, but yeah, I'll put that. It's on iTunes. You can search Nerd Talk, be advised. I mean, we appreciate you listening. We hope you come back almost every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern, sometimes throughout the weekend at other times, which we'll post on Twitter. We'll usually put a YouTube video up and let you guys know. And we hope you enjoy and tune in to see more. So thanks for watching, everyone. For you guys in the Twitch chat, stay tuned. We're going to come back for just a few minutes after show. Happy gaming, everyone.